FCS or FBS?
Oh, they are FCS? But then they are playing 2 this year. Sorry.
On there because of McElwain?
Parkside Cabin Rentals, affordable rustic luxury in the Smokies. Chalets and log cabins, from intimate to grand. In town or in total seclusion, we can fit any need you have. Visit ParksideCabinRentals.com. Plan your vacation today.
Southeast Termite and Pest Control can help protect your home from animals, trapping and relocating wildlife, fixing the damage they cause, and preventing them from invading your home in the first place. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control and ask about our many services.
The following is a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.
Let's talk Tennessee football. This is the Sports Source Kickoff, presented by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Now, your host, John Pennington.
Good Saturday morning, good game day morning to you. Tennessee taking on East Tennessee State. And we're going to talk about it right here on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Parkside Cabin Rentals. And there you have it, Parkside Cabin Rentals. And today we're going to tell you about one of their subsidiaries, one of their sister properties, which is the Lodge at Five Oaks, if we can get that up there. Recently renovated for $6 million. This family-owned property is right in the heart of the dining and entertainment district in Sevierville. It's adjacent to Tanger Outlets at Five Oaks. Hardwood floors, hickory furniture inside this thing. You cannot beat the airy farmhouse kind of feel of the Lodge at Five Oaks. Great for your family, great for a couple, great for you just to get away. The Lodge at Five Oaks. Check them out. All right, want to welcome in the panelists for the evening. We have one more waiting in the wings, but Josh Ward from WNML is with us, as is Jimmy Himes, WNML, and right down there from GoVols247.com, Ryan Callahan. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us today. Vols will bounce back from their opening day loss with a 4 p.m. kickoff against East Tennessee State of the FCS division. We've got some mighty good stats to show you. It's their 4th year of football. They are 12-22 since the return of football, 4-7 last year, and you can see some of the teams, if we can get the lower third out of there, you can see some of those teams that they've played. Really great names. Warner, these are the teams they've beaten. Warner, Limestone, which I'd never heard of. I think Chuck Cavallera suggested they should be the Cowboys, the Limestone Cowboys. But anyway, that's the type of team that Tennessee will be playing today at Neyland Stadium. So you would expect them to come out of the blocks early and get the job done. Mm-hmm. They'll be doing so today without one of the guys we spent all summer wondering if they were, or all spring wondering if they were going to get, and that's Brandon Kennedy, center who transferred in from Alabama, and he played in one game and made it to Tuesday's practice before injuring his knee, out for the year with an ACL tear. Going to move Ryan Johnson over there, and I think most people feel good about it. But gentlemen, your thoughts on what that does to the rest of the line, what that does to depth. Moving forward, starting with today's game, what do you think about the line now that Kennedy's out?
Well, it adds to the shuffling, John, that I think was already there. Tennessee came out of last week's game saying, all right, we played a lot of guys on the offensive line. We need to figure out who the best 5 are. It might make it easier in terms of trying to narrow things down on the interior. If Ryan Johnson sticks at center, I think there's a good chance that happens. Jerome Carvin might end up being the guy at right guard. And then I think you figure out what you have at right tackle to decide, is Jameer Johnson going to stay at guard or go outside? But Tennessee still, with or without Brandon Kennedy, is in a position where it needs to figure out who the best 5, then probably 6 and 7 guys are.
Besides depth, I think it hurts your chemistry. I didn't think the offensive line played very well against West Virginia, and as was pointed out by Jeremy Pruitt, Trey Smith had about 10 practices. Jameer Johnson missed the first week or so with an illness. You move Drew Richmond from left tackle to right tackle. All these moves, I think, make it difficult to have a cohesive unit. So I think it affects the chemistry a little bit. The key to this is your chemistry better be ready when you play Florida. But for right now, I just think it hurts them trying to mold together.
Yeah, you get 2 glorified scrimmages before Florida. Who knows? You know, if I were telling people at home, if they look great, I wouldn't buy too much into it. If they look bad, panic. But this offensive line, going into today and going into next week against UTEP, it shouldn't be anything that's a problem. But when you mix guys up and you throw Carvin in there, who's done well, he's gotten on campus, and you hear Jeremy Pruitt talk about him, he's done well so far, but still, that center guard was not the strength of the team last week. That was an issue. Ryan, your thoughts on that up the middle and changing in there in the center and the guard?
Yeah, I think it doesn't make it any easier because you were already searching for your best 5 on the offensive line. I think that was the case even if Brandon Kennedy was still healthy. Like Jimmy said, you worry about the continuity there, but I think they were going to use this game at least and maybe the next 2 to figure out who is our best 5 going into SEC play. Now it's a little bit easier in a sense. You plug Ryan Johnson into center, so I think you know that. Before you knew Kennedy was at center. Now those guard spots are iffy, and you've got to figure that out pretty quickly here and see if you can get some continuity. But right now they've got a lot of options still, and you at least feel better about the fact they do have some depth there.
One thing that's kind of interesting and tells you how much work they haven't had is they may have had as much time with Ryan Johnson and Jerome Carvin working together with Johnson at center as they had Brandon Kennedy, because he missed some practice time in August because of a hamstring issue. So they didn't get that much work because Kennedy just came in the summer.
Yeah, that's a good point. If people are expecting fresh recruits to walk in and save the day in the person of J.J. Peterson, doesn't look like that's going to happen either. The 4-star linebacker that Tennessee had to go right down, literally down to the wire to get him cleared. He's in school. He's over there at UT. Problem is, and I'll credit the 2 of you, my recruiting guys on the Sunday show. You mentioned a few weeks ago that even if he gets in here, he might not be 100% because he's had his shoulder worked on. Turns out, not just the shoulder, he showed up out of shape, and it doesn't sound like Jeremy Pruitt expects him to be much of a contributor for a month or 2.
Yeah, you're not going to see J.J. Peterson out there today on the field. I don't know that you'll see him out there next Saturday or a few Saturdays after that. There's a lot of work for J.J. Peterson to do, and he's behind in everything. One, getting in shape, physical shape, football shape. Also learning the defense because he just arrived the day before the start of the season. Also catching up on classes, didn't go through summer workouts, didn't go through fall practice, so he is literally behind in everything.
Ryan, you surprised at how he showed up?
I'm surprised that he showed up in as rough of shape as he was. Mentioning the shoulder injury, you wondered if conditioning would be a concern. I didn't expect it to be visible, something you could notice visibly in just how he looked when he showed up. But he is a little bit heavy right now, going to take some time to shed some weight. This is, again, another situation where if he's here at the beginning of summer and shows up that way, no big deal. He's got 2 months to work it off like a lot of guys in the summer. Now he doesn't. He comes in the day before, or actually after the season opener, and he doesn't have any time to get up to speed. So it's a tough situation, but they've got to get him up to speed during the season now.
He may be a 4-game redshirt candidate.
He might be.
Yeah, one of those guys at the end of the year that now you can play that many games and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that is an example of the benefit, is that you can play him later in the year and still redshirt if you want to do that.
Jimmy, the other lineup roster switcheroo that we might see today, not in terms of the starting lineup, but Keller Christ didn't get in until mop-up duty against West Virginia last week. Jeremy Pruitt wants to play him this week, but he hasn't come up with a plan of exactly how he's going to do it. He hasn't said, yeah, it'll be the 3rd series, the 4th series. Your thoughts on Christ, how much he plays, how much would you want to see of him today?
Well, I don't blame Jeremy Pruitt for not going in with a definitive game plan because you don't know what the situation will be at that particular time. I do think Chris will get a number of series. Pruitt is committed to trying to build some depth at quarterback, and you won't know about Chris until he gets some action, although you do have tape from Stanford, but still you want to see him in your system. My guess is if Tennessee has 12 or 13 series against ETSU, Chris is going to play 3 or 4. That'd be my guess.
Anyone else? Thoughts on Keller Christ and how you use him? There are some people out there who I thought you saw enough, and we talked on Sunday's show. I think most of us thought that Garantano took a step forward. Most of us felt like, okay, you can win some games with that. He's not, in terms of the giant red flags, you can take his down right now based on one game. But you still need to have Keller Christ. There are some fans out there who think, why didn't we see him? It was supposed to be a neck-and-neck battle. I don't think the message has gotten out to everyone that neck-and-neck battle turned out not to be a neck-and-neck battle, that Garantano kind of pulled away.
Yeah, the thought that Garantano really was the guy, that was confirmed last Saturday. And even Jeremy Pruitt said Keller Christ is the backup. So I think an important thing for Tennessee to do is work on the offense with Jerry Garantano. It was a nice start, but there's a lot to work on within the offense with Tennessee starting quarterback. I would treat this like a scrimmage and get as much work for the offense, first-team offense, as I could.
You should be able to protect him this week, so let him drop back and let's see some of those chunk plays.
Yeah.
See what you can get.
Yeah, I thought the offense with Garantano looked like it had as much upside as any part of this team right now. So I think you've got to work on the passing game, see if you can stretch the field a bit more than they tried to in the opener. But it's important to get Keller Christ in there. It's not a battle anymore. I think it's important to stress that. It's not a battle. But there may come a time, I mean, Tennessee will face better defenses than they faced last week against West Virginia. So when you face Florida, when you face Georgia, Alabama, teams like that, Garantano's going to take some shots. You need a backup that's ready. But you also might see a situation later where Garantano struggles a bit more. And if you do, you at least want to know Keller Christ is ready and able to go in.
Tennessee with a lot of things to improve upon, they need to improve upon before Florida comes in here in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk about some of those next. The last member of our panel will join us. Tyler Wyatt's going to be here. Professional handicapper. He's set us up with some over-unders to discuss areas where Tennessee needs to improve. We'll tell you whether or not we think they will improve that much against East Tennessee State in these areas. That's next when the Sports Source Kickoff returns.
Did you know English Mountain Spring Water has been named the world's best tasting water? That a French competition declared it a gourmet water? Did you know English Mountain Spring Water is bottled in Dandridge? And it's available for commercial and residential water service across East Tennessee. Clear, pure water with no aftertaste. From an East Tennessee source and a local company providing unmatched service. English Mountain Spring Water.
The Lodge at Five Oaks, conveniently located within walking distance to some of the area's best attractions, restaurants, and shops. Call now for special rates throughout the week or visit thelodgeat5oaks.com to plan your next getaway today.
Since 1971, Southeast Termite and Pest Control has offered free inspections, multiple pest control options, and guaranteed termite prevention and correction. Times have changed. Our service hasn't. Southeast Termite and Pest Control.
Under Tennessee law, you're entitled to money damages for injuries caused by the negligence of others. How much money often depends on the diligence, skill, and experience of your attorney. A Knoxville law firm has been helping injured people for more than 30 years.
At Bill Hodson Associates, we've collected millions of dollars from insurance companies that didn't want to treat injured people fairly. Is your case worth more than the insurance company says? Call Bill Hodson Associates and find out.
When it comes to your business, no one provides better security and life safety systems than Safety Systems. Protect your employees, your products, and your records with a single phone call. Professional technicians ready to design, install, and monitor your cutting-edge fire and security systems. Electric locks and surveillance cameras. Emergency and after-hours response and repairs. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and life safety systems.
Just 60 miles from Knoxville, adventure meets sanctuary at the historic Topoco Lodge. Originally opened in 1930, this renovated, reborn mountain retreat offers cozy, well-appointed rooms, cabins, and suites, waterfront dining, our warm signature service, and plenty of outdoor sports and activities, all within our riverside, creekside, and forest setting. Experience the historic Topoco Lodge, where adventure meets sanctuary.
Parkside Cabin Rentals, affordable, rustic luxury in the Smokies. Hot tubs, pool tables, fireplaces inside and out. Our cabins are perfect for relaxing or entertaining. Visit ParksideCabinRentals.com. Plan your vacation today.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment of our program brought to you by English Mountain Spring Water, available for commercial and residential service. This water, which comes straight from a Dandridge spring. That's true. I've been there. I've seen this spring. It has been named the world's best water. How good is it? Well, if you're ever at the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas, this is, I swear to you, and you can buy a bottle of Bling H2O, it's called, $90. But the water in it, English Mountain Spring Water. They just bottle it for the folks in Vegas, and instead of paying $90, you can get it here much cheaper. English Mountain Spring Water, check out their website. You will be impressed with them. Commercial, residential service. All right, somebody who impressed us last week, we have a professional sports handicapper with us. Tyler Wyatt is right over at the 3forthemoney.win board. That is the name of his website if you want to join his masses who call him and take his picks to heart and to Vegas. Tyler Wyatt's a good one to call. We asked Tyler to give us some over-unders each week, most interesting matchups, but today there shouldn't be any that are interesting matchups. So I said, let's look at areas where Tennessee needs to improve. The first over-under you gave us, Tyler, is 229. What is it and why?
Rushing yards for Tennessee, we chose 229, 129 last week against West Virginia. Surely they can be 100 yards better against ETSU. No disrespect to all those Buck fans, but we chose 229. We added 100. Surely they can get 100 more yards on the ground.
Okay, so Tennessee, 229 and over, or under 229 against East Tennessee State. How much is that new offensive line going to be able to run the ball against the Buccaneers?
Well, it's probably proper market correction, but I got burned last week because I went over on the rushing numbers. So I'm going to go. I went over last week. I'm going to go under this week on 229.
Really? Under? Okay.
I got burned too. I think we all might have got burned on that rushing tough.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over because I think Tennessee's going to break some long runs. I don't think it'll be a steady diet of 5 and 8 yard runs. I think they'll break a few, so I'm going to go over.
I'll go over too. I think they get there, probably not by a large margin. I don't see them rushing for 300 yards in this game, but I do think they get there. I think they're going to be committed to the run most of the year, as they showed last week, and even in this game, you're going to be running out the clock a lot because you build a big early lead. So even if they need to get there late, I think they'll keep tacking on to that total in the second half.
I got over as well. Tyler, it sounded like you were going to go over, I'm guessing. And you are going over?
Going over. Tim Jordan last week, impressive. I think he has a big day. Wouldn't surprise me if he flirts with 200 yards. I think the rest of the team can get 30 or 40, so I'm going over 229.
All right, your second over-under is 4.
Second one.
What are we talking about?
4 is going to be chunk plays, 25 yards or more. Tennessee needs those plays later in the season, but we're going with 4 for this game. That's 1 1/4. Pretty simple.
All right. Tennessee, chunk plays with this offense. 4 plays or more of 25 yards. Do they hit it?
I'll go over with ETSU's defense, not Tennessee's offense. I think they'll break some. I think they can actually throw an 8 yard pass to wide receiver, and he can break a tackle and get 26. But right. I'm going to go over.
All right, I'll go over as well.
Yeah, I am, and that's the reason why. I think that Tennessee will have a good chance to have some catch and run plays, maybe a screen that could go for 30 plus. So and that'll get the running backs involved, so they won't need to as much.
Well, this is one of those. Right, this is one to me where you've got better athletes who can make better individual plays. When you're up against West Virginia, that might not be the case. But East Tennessee State shouldn't be running down anybody from behind, for example. You going over, or are you going to be the lone gunman and go the other way?
No, I'll go over, but I'll say I could see a push.
Okay.
I do think the fact that they're playing ETSU is the only reason I think they will go over, but they do need to work on the passing game down the field. Do we see that? If they do, I think they definitely hit that number.
Tyler, you going over on that one or under?
We're going up. Jarrett Garantano may not throw a pass over 25 yards, but I think a receiver can break one. Tim Jordan, a couple of runs over 25. I think that they easily get there.
Okay, very good. And the last one is 6.
The last one is 6 sacks for Tennessee. Mars Hill last week got to ETSU 3 times. We're going to double. Surely Tennessee can double up the production that Mars Hill had, right? So we're doubling that to 6.
Yeah, surely. I mean, 6 is a lot. 6 is a lot, but should be over. I don't know if it will be over. I'll say that, but it should be over. If Mars Hill can get to the quarterback 3 times, all right, maybe this is one where Kongbo can actually get to a quarterback. Maybe they're able to get to this guy. I'll say 6.
This feels like a sucker's bet. It should be 6. I'm going to go under. I'm going to say, prove it to me, Tennessee's defense.
Me too. I'm going under. I don't know who the pass rushers are on this team, so I'm going under.
Same here. They'll get a handful, but I say 4 or 5 sacks. I don't see 6.
Again, I'm going on the Mars Hill factor here. If Mars Hill can get 3, surely Tennessee can. What are you doing, Tyler?
I'm going over. I think the practice this week had to have been pretty tough. I think Jeremy Pruitt, lit a fire there, and I think we see a much improved defense against a team it's not a fair matchup.
Mr. Positivity over there. He's
Absolutely.
trying to get people to go to that website.
Yes.
3forthemoney.win is where you go. We'll come back in the next segment. We usually play, well, we're going to continue to do it. It's Tennessee will win if. It's a much more interesting segment when they're not playing a high school team. But next, we're going to talk about the line. We're going to talk about whether Tennessee will cover that line. And we'll talk about what Tennessee should show against East Tennessee State. Come on back on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Parkside Cabin Rental.
Southeast Termite and Pest Control can help protect your home from animals, trapping and relocating wildlife, fixing the damage they cause, and preventing them from invading your home in the first place. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control and ask about our many services.
The Lodge at Five Oaks, conveniently located within walking distance to some of the area's best attractions, restaurants, and shops. Call now for special rates throughout the week or visit thelodgeat5oaks.com to plan your next getaway today.
Just 60 miles from Knoxville, adventure meets sanctuary at the historic Topoco Lodge, featuring the Topoco Tavern with comfortable seating inside or riverside for lunch and dinner, expanded patio dining, private rooms for events, drinks on the observation deck, and at our multiple bars. Try the Carolina Mountain Trout, a Black Angus choice ribeye, or build your own hand-tossed pizza. Experience the Topoco Tavern at the historic Topoco Lodge.
When it comes to your home, no one provides better security and audio-video systems than Safety Systems. Control everything using your tablet or smartphone, whether it's a hidden TV or the temperature in your home. Lighting, doors that open and close, lock and unlock, cameras that allow you to watch your home from wherever you may be, all at the touch of a button. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and audio-video systems.
Under Tennessee law, you're entitled to money damages for injuries caused by the negligence of others. How much money often depends on the diligence, skill, and experience of your attorney. A Knoxville law firm has been helping injured people for more than 30 years.
At Bill Hotson Associates, we've collected millions of dollars from insurance companies that didn't want to treat people fairly. Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Are you being treated fairly? Call us and find out.
Experience you can trust.
Did you know English Mountain Spring Water has been named the world's best tasting water? That a French competition declared it a gourmet water? Did you know English Mountain Spring Water is bottled in Dandridge? And it's available for commercial and residential water service across East Tennessee. Clear, pure water with no aftertaste. From an East Tennessee source and a local company providing unmatched service. English Mountain Spring Water.
Southeast Termite and Pest Control is locally owned, locally operated, handling thousands of commercial and residential jobs all across East Tennessee. Protect your home with a free inspection and estimate from Southeast Termite and Pest Control.
Bottle of water.
Welcome back in. This segment of our program brought to you by Bill Hotz and Associates. Car accidents are serious business, obviously. If you are injured in an accident by a careless driver, you need serious, proven attorneys, and you don't get more proven in East Tennessee than Bill Hotz and Associates. They've been doing this for 30 years, and they've done great work. Don't miss out on the medical bills that could be costly, wages lost when you're off work. Get in touch with Bill Hotz and Associates. They can help you out. All right. Want to talk a little bit about the line for this game today. We'll get to that in just a second, but we typically talk about Tennessee will win if. We're going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to be a smart aleck, and I'm guessing some of you others will too. But if you schedule a patsy like this, if you schedule a tomato can, you should crush said tomato can. Tennessee will win if they show up, if they get off the bus properly and don't fall down on the ball walk. But they also better look good. Our show tomorrow, if there's an area where they don't improve, could be scathing tomorrow morning, because this is the kind of, if you're going to schedule somebody this bad, you better look good when you go out there on the field with them. And Tennessee's got a lot of room to improve. So Tennessee will win if they get there healthy. You guys can give me one of those, or you can just tell me what you expect or want to see from this team later on today.
I want to see a team that plays a lot better pass defense and rushes a passer. I want to see a team that also runs the ball more consistently, because I think Tennessee did that very well. And another thing would be the splash plays, make some big plays.
Yeah, Tennessee's got to get better defensively. They're going to face obviously a lot of good teams that can do damage to them this season. This should not be one of them. If you're giving up a lot of big plays in this game, it's going to be a concern. So shore up some of the areas you had last week that showed up as concerns on defense, and like Jimmy said, make some big plays on offense. They need to be in the pass game. I think that's where you've got to get better. Build on what you had last week by showing you can go down the field some.
Yeah, today is one of those show up and win games. So as long as Tennessee is there and meets all NCAA rules and regulations, they win. To me, it's about avoiding the moral loss. You want to go out there and do all the things that these guys are talking about, show that you are a much better team, and win that way.
Well, I'll give you the comparison from last year, where you knew, okay, this is a real UMass.
Yeah.
That was one where you should have everything should have clicked, and it didn't. And you could go back, in time. Tennessee, I believe they struggled with Northern Illinois one year.
Appy State, they struggled with.
Appy State, yeah. Now you wound up surviving that year and going 9-4, but the goal was higher than a 4-loss team. So this is one of those danger games where you really can't do anything but disappoint. If you come out and blow their doors off, I don't care. It's a high school. If you do less than blow their doors off, what the heck's wrong with you?
And it's something that won't show up in the score so much, but to me, well, I guess it might in the sense that you've got to blow them out to do this, but you've got to develop some depth today too. These next two games are important for Tennessee to figure out who they can trust as freshmen, some of these backups. You figure that out today, and that helps you, but you got to build a comfortable lead to do that. You mentioned that UMass game. They couldn't do that in that game, and they tried to because Tennessee couldn't build a comfortable lead, so that's what you want out of this game.
All right. Tyler White, guys in Vegas, usually when it's an FCS opponent, they don't put a line out until the last minute. What are you hearing about what the line is? What are you hearing about, where you think they're going to do? What do you think Tennessee's going to do against that line?
Offshore books will put a number out, 37.5, 38 today. A couple of Vegas casinos will open up betting. They'll cap it $200-300 a game max. They don't want to get flooded, but offshore books are taking action, 37.5. It's a big number. No coach more than Randy Sanders wants to come in and compete. Maybe for a half. If it's a half, he may take a close half versus a win in a couple of weeks because it is Tennessee and there's a tie there. But 37.5, big number. Total in the game 50, so they're expecting it to be fairly lopsided. But 37.5 is the number that we're seeing this morning.
Which way are you going?
I would have to go against Tennessee right now. It hurts to say that. It's a big number. It wouldn't surprise me at all if this were, a 42, 45-point game and maybe ETSU gets a late garbage field goal, a late garbage touchdown, and it's in that 49-7 range. But I do think that that ETSU right now in the points is probably the way to go. And
okay, well let's play with both of those. Give me an over/under for East Tennessee State points.
Can they get into red zone territory 3 times, and can they convert 2 of those 3? We'll go with 6, couple of field goals for ETSU.
All right, very good. So here's the question. Tennessee, what'd you say, 38.5 or 37.5?
38. We'll call it 38. 37.5, 38.
Nah, I don't want anybody to push here. 37.5. Who takes Tennessee to cover the 37.5?
I will. I think we're talking about all the big plays they're going to make, all the sacks that we're going to see, all those things. If they do all those things, to me, they should win. I predicted a final of somewhere around 52-7, so I think they score plenty of points in this game if they do the things we said.
I took 41-7, so that would put me under slightly.
Okay.
So I'm going to go under.
Yeah, and I was 37 or 38-6. I got confused on my scoring, but that still would be under.
Okay, so a couple of unders there.
And that would be right on Tyler's number for points for
Okay,
ETSU.
so for 6, I'm sorry, you said you're
pushing
on it.
on that, yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I got them with 7. They're going to go way over.
Way over?
Oh, yeah, same.
Okay. I'll say Tennessee under on the 37.5 and ETSU over on the 6. They'll get in the end zone once, kick an extra point. In terms of most important, what's the number one goal today? Stay healthy. So take that off the table. What's number one? Of all the things we've listed, and they need to improve in all of those areas, if you had to pick one that is the definitive do this, what was your biggest concern rolling out of West Virginia, in other words?
I think I would go with the chunk plays part of the conversation because if Tennessee's able to get after the quarterback, that still doesn't tell me it's going to happen. If they can't hit big plays against ETSU, then that makes me wonder, okay, what is this offense even capable of? And I think the offense is going to have to score a lot of points this season.
I'm going to go with offensive line. And I'm going to go in that direction because I think when you start looking at some of the teams Tennessee's playing, starting with Florida, which has a really good front, what's Tennessee going to be able to do against them? It's going to be hard to have some chunk plays if your quarterback's getting beat to heck. So I'm going to go with the offensive line, seeing some improvement, seeing some consistency with this group, seeing them try to build some chemistry.
I think it's figuring out who you can trust in the back end of your defense. The secondary had some issues last week. Balin Buchanan wasn't very good. I think Mike Abernathy struggled some at safety. You've got to figure out who your starters are and who you're really counting on when you get to SEC play. If anyone goes out there today and makes a big mistake, that's going to tell you something about who you can trust moving forward. So whether it's freshmen, whether it's those veterans, you got to figure out who you can count on in the secondary.
I think I'm going to go with a pass rush. And the reason being, I don't know that this offense is going to be able to carry this defense. I don't think the offense is strong enough to carry this defense all year. You know the secondary is going to take – now maybe that's a good unit in November, but it's a long way to November. So if you can't cover, you better be able to get to the quarterback and get some sort of pressure on it to bust it up on the front end. And if you can't do that, I think you're looking at it's going to be a tough stretch when they go through that 5-game stretch from Florida to South Carolina anyway, but it could be nightmarish, 0-5 type nightmarish if you don't get a pass rush going. So that would be my number one goal for today. I want them to see that. I want to see that 6 sacks. I want them to double up Mars Hill. All right, tomorrow, I want to tell you that tomorrow, 11 a.m. WATE 6 is the Sports Source. I think we got a graphic for that. Maybe not. But anyway, we will close with that, and we will see you tomorrow over on WATE 6 at 11 a.m. for the Sports Source. Thanks for joining us today. Good luck to the Vols. See you tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.